Okay, UFC 291 happened today at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, and important that it was at Salt Lake City because fighting at altitude definitely a factor in a few of these.
Yeah, massively, because last year when they went there, nearly every fight, every fighter gassed within the first round and a half. It was definitely a challenge. I think a lot of them went up earlier and trained for a couple of weeks leading into the pay-per-view to get acclimatized to the environment. And I think we saw, there's definitely some fatigue, more than we'd expect for some guys, but they were much better than it was last year. That was for sure.
If you're wondering about that altitude, I did look it up today. 1,300 metres for us Aussie normal
4,300
4,000 feet, yeah, for any US listeners. So definitely up there. Let's talk about this BMF belt. Justin Gaethje gets some sweet revenge against Dustin Poirier. Both fighters pretty evenly well matched in this one, both 34 years of age. The highlight has less losses, but the big loss in terms of this fight was losing to Dustin Poirier way back in 2018. So the Diamond having the mental advantage going into this one, and it took a pretty awesome head kick to end him in the second round. First round, they went out swinging.
Yeah, it was very competitive, very technical stand-up fight to begin. It looked like Dustin was probably landing a little bit more.
Yeah, did you have Dustin maybe
ahead, but Dustin was probably landing more of the significant heavier blows. But yeah, then the right punch, right head kick combination was all she wrote. And it was pretty interesting because they talked about the Leon Edwards kick, which was a left punch, left hard kick, but in the same venue a year ago. So
I didn't know that was Salt Lake. Yeah. Didn't spring to mind.
Comes full circle.
Monk's got the stats there. 41 total strikes to 27 for Justin Gaethje. And yeah, if you haven't seen the highlight, do try and check it out. The right head kick gets through the guard, and that was all she wrote. What about Herb Dean sliding in? He's safe. Sliding in to steal a run and save Dustin Poirier from copping some extra damage whilst he was down. Big backflip from Gaethje nearly lands on Dustin and Herb. And then pretty straightforward. Makhachev and Oliveira are going to fight in October. So Justin wants to win and probably deserves it after beating number 2 there in Poirier.
And considering, you have to check his record for me. Because he lost, of course, to Khabib, but I'm not sure if he's had a loss since then.
Gaethje, I think his losses recently have been Makhachev and Khabib. So I think
he
that's...
have a round?
Oliveira. So he hasn't fought Makhachev.
I thought that was the case. He hadn't fought Makhachev yet. But yeah, so that's creates some interesting matchups at the top of the lightweight division.
Fucking stacked division. It's hard to think of a division right now that's more stacked than lightweight.
Well, it's been lightweight
for a long time.
Couple of years,
so Makhachev, obviously the champ at the moment. Oliveira won. Poirier and Gaethje will switch during the week, you'd think, and then sort of the mid tiers in Dariush, Chandler, and Fiziev.
And then there's, of course, Conor McGregor floating around in there somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder how many Conor McGregor whiskies he was deep when he said that he would smash. I don't think that's the right word.
Slap.
He would
slap both of them.
Slap Gaethje around. It's interesting for Gaethje because if he doesn't get the title shot, which is what he wants, do you take the big money fight? Because I think current Conor gets his ass whooped by Justin Gaethje.
He's meant to be fighting Chandler, and that's not going to happen because he still hasn't entered the USADA pool. So, and he's got to be in that for 6 months. It's all rhetoric with Conor. None of it's going to happen.
Bit over it these days with Conor, or
when was the last time he fought? Dustin.
Yeah.
2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, because Poirier's beaten him twice, hasn't he? So it's been a while for Conor, and obviously he doesn't need the money.
No.
So it's for him, it's just about pride and legacy, I suppose.
He's on the Ultimate Fighter at the moment, of course, doing the TV show, leading into what was meant to be the Michael Chandler fight, but it's just not going to happen.
When was that last Poirier fight? That is his 2 last fights, is Poirier?
10 July 2021.
So right on 2 years at the moment.
Yep. That's what I thought.
I wonder how his leg is as well. And Aussie breaks those fibular fractures.
Yeah. All accounts healed and he's been training.
Well, it doesn't take you 2 years to come back from a moment. I'll put it that way. But in a sport where you get kicked in the leg a lot, it maybe is a factor.
Oh, it's raining.
And rain is coming to interrupt play.
Well, I think they'll take lunch.
They'll take lunch. Hopefully, there's not too much in it because we're looking pretty good.
Yep. It's a bit of turn there.
Okay, let's go into light heavyweight. So Alex Pereira, his first fight at 205, and he definitely didn't look out of place.
He's huge.
Considering the weight cut, and Rogan sort of asking him what it was like cutting down to 185. But there was reports he was sitting at 225 plus come fight time. So a pretty amazing effort for that he was even fighting in middleweight to begin with.
Bananas.
7-2, he goes to 8-2 now, and this one was a split decision. Did you think the judges got it right?
I kind of felt like that was the way it was going to go because the second you could have given either way, and I think the third was more with Pereira. But you could have argued a lot of the rounds. It depends on what you thought of the wrestling. But I think in the third, I thought Pereira more. I didn't think Jan had the better combinations, but one of the judges gave 1 and 3 to Jan, so which was the split decision. So made it a little bit tougher. I thought 2 and 3 to Pereira made the most sense from the action that I saw. He landed some of the bigger shots, and especially in the second round, I thought that was more his. And he was dominated in the first on the ground and survived all the submission attempts, which was pretty good, pretty impressive. He's definitely working heavily on that. So. Trying to get to more of being a complete fighter. So I think in the end, the right man won the fight.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we've had similar discussions on the Esky before. Where do you weigh up significant strikes versus takedowns and timing control? Obviously, Jan dominated that. He looked visibly disappointed and felt that he had done enough to win that fight. But I think you nailed it this morning. Or this afternoon, when we were chatting about it after it had just happened, he didn't seem to do a whole lot with that time in control.
Outside of the first round, the other takedowns he got and the other grappling exchanges in the other 2 rounds didn't really lead to a lot.
And obviously we're biased, but when Volk lost to Markachev and was kicking the shit out of him in that final round, and you start to think,
And round 4, he just held him down the entire round. I guess it was a nothing round, but you had to score it to him. But he did no damage in the whole round. So
I'm with you. I think they got it right here. I'm a big fan of Jan. He's 40 years of age. It'd be interesting to see if he's still got the fire in the belly, because obviously his ranking will slip a little bit, and Pereira's going to skyrocket up the light heavyweight.
Yeah, well, I think he's in line for whatever. I kind of think of it as like a tournament. So he's won his side of the bracket. So there'll probably be a fight. Or I think your ears. I don't want to say Petrarca because Prohaska. I think he's back, so I think they'll make a fight with him and someone else, and then the winner, Pereira and the winner of that would then fight for the vacant belt.
Well, it's hard because Ankalaev as well, who's coming off the draw with Błachowicz, he'd think that he's due for that interim.
So that's why I think it might be him and. Year and that one, and then the winner of that would then fight Pereira for the belt to unify it, and then I guess could come back. If we're following that kind of time frame, and maybe it is Achilles, so it could be quite a while.
Well, it's a tendon rupture as well, so it's like a year from when he vacated.
Yeah. But maybe that could be the first title defense for whoever the winner is, considering maybe that fight for the belt is early next year, maybe towards the end is where they have the. It's all potential. Interesting though, one of Pereira's comments post-fight of this is he wants to stay in, like they asked him, you can stay in the light heavyweight division. He's like, I want to stay in the division, I want to win the belt, but I have unfinished business.
You'd think that's at Adesanya 3.
Yeah. Sounds
/5.
That has to happen.
Yeah. Or, dude's 228, I think, this morning. He's probably 230 by fight time. It's not too far away from heavyweight. This is John Jones fighting around maybe. You just need to put 10 pounds on and he'd be almost the same way as what Jones was for that Garn fight. So.
I don't know if he wants that smoke, to be honest.
I wouldn't, for wrestling background, I wouldn't. Don't think that's his sort of game plan and what he'd want. But
It's fine. It's hard finding anyone in the world that wants that smoke.
I agree.
Considering what he did to Cyril Gane pretty quick.
Well, I guess use that heavyweights.
Someone might.
Yeah, Derrick Lewis. Quick 30-second TKO knockout in this one. Did a bit of a
Can't wrestle.
Yeah,
flying
there you go.
Can't wrestle if you're knocked out.
Yeah.
This was a wild,
skinny beast as well.
Yeah, he dropped a lot of
He had a six
fat.
pack. He had a six pack.
Close. They were saying it a six pack. I feel like if that's a six pack,
Some definitions.
maybe I've got a six pack if that's the definition. But he's definitely slimmed down a lot, and you'd think that's. Training for the altitude and maybe expecting a bit of a grappling match here against Marcos Rogério de Lima. Wow, I struggled with that one.
Did better than we would.
And he was the underdog in this one as well, despite being ranked 10 and Marcos being 15, because he's coming off 3 losses. I think there was obviously the Bam Bam one, which we were pretty surprised about when it happened, because he was a heavy favourite in that Bam Bam fight, and he's also lost to since then. He's lost to the 2 Sergeys in Pavlicic and Spivak.
Yeah, both ranked above him, I think, at the moment. So.
That's right. So getting his career right back on track. He's 38. They kind of asked him, the interview with Rogan was funny, man. Rogan's just Rogan was losing it when he took his pants off and
threw his cup in the crowd.
And started doing dancing in the octagon, threw his cup in the crowd.
Threw a big sucket as well. So.
Yeah, he's a character. And Rogan asked him, did you plan that flying knee? And he said, hell no. There's a long no. I just threw some bullshit and it landed. How much of that is truth, I'm not sure.
Well, I think maybe some of it because... he didn't want to, let's stay away from the wrestling.
Yeah.
Let's throw some bullshit to start the fight, see what happens. And he was lucky. He landed with the flying knee and followed it up, and that's all she wrote.
And it was his 14th career KO, which passes Matt Brown to be the most in UFC history. He may never be a champion. Unlikely, actually, that he'll ever be a champion, but definitely will go down as one of the best entertainers that's ever been in an octagon, that's for sure. Be interesting to see what he does at the age of 38. He's obviously in probably the best shape that he's ever been, so definitely could go another couple of fights.
Definitely. And there's plenty of fun fights for him in the heavyweight division, but same thing. You're fighting in the heavyweight division. How long do you want to do that?
That's the thing. The general rule is with these heavyweights is that if you lose, you're going to sleep. Yeah. So, how long do you want to keep doing that? But
put yourself in harm's way.
That's right. Definitely for the fans. Definitely want to see him going around again. And one of the awesome sort of finishes to a fight, and then a bit of carry on afterwards. It was good viewing.
It's always fun to watch.
Now, this actually was elevated to the main card. It wouldn't have even occurred on the main card had the Wonderboy Thompson and Mikael Pereira fight gone ahead. So
Pereira missing weight by
3 pounds.
3 pounds.
So a fair bit. Fair bit.
And Thompson had fought, I think, Darren Till with the same sort of miss weight by Till, and then lost the fight. And he was like, I'm too old for this shit, and I don't want to miss I don't need to fight guys where I don't have the competitive advantage like they do.
Yep.
I've turned up for the better part of 20 years and have made weight, so I'm not going to take the fight. And all good to him.
Yeah.
All credit to him.
He released quite a long statement. I'll just read maybe the more sort of pertinent parts of it. But he said, at my age and given what I've accomplished in the sport, which is a lot, I'm not here to be a gatekeeper. I'm here to fight for and win a UFC welterweight title. Then I think the next sort of few lines were probably the most interesting. Fighters who miss weight face far too few consequences and are often allowed to fight with a significant competitive advantage. I agree with that. I also encourage fighters that face this situation to follow suit and not allow this to happen to them. So also urging other people to pull out. It means he gives up any chance of a purse, I would imagine, doesn't he, by not taking that fight? So obviously it's not about the money for Wonder Boy.
He gets a cut, I think.
Does he get a little bit?
The other dude's fight.
Yeah.
So he gets the option essentially because it's.
He'll
get a small.
Was held though.
Yeah, he'd get more.
Like he'd get cancelled.
He'd get a percentage of his purse anyway.
If they fought.
No.
Are you saying,
I think he still gets a bit.
He gets a bit. Yeah. So if it's 100K, he might have got 50K, and he might have got 20 odd from the other bloke's purse. So to do the math.
That's one we need to chase up. Actually, what actually happens in that situation when the other guy misses weight and then the opponent pulls out. But it turned out to be a good thing for the fans because that the Lewis fight goes to the main card, and we weren't disappointed by it. Bobby King Green defeating Tony Ferguson, third round submission via arm triangle. Tony definitely pretty popular, it seems. There's a big chance going for around the crowd for him. That's 6 losses in a row now for him. And look at the names. Diaz, Chandler, Dariush, Oliveira, Gaethje.
Talk about a stacked division.
Stacked division. They're all killers. Bloke is 38, 39 years of age. He didn't leave his gloves in the octagon, but you'd think that's time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be pretty close to it. And he's been in, and like those 4 fights have been absolute wars as well. So he's taken a lot of punishment in this. Do you watch this fight? What do you think if it made it to the scorecards, who was winning?
Say again?
If it made it to the scorecard, so, there's another 6 seconds, who do you think would have won?
I think Tony won the first round, and I think Bobby had him covered in 2 and 3. But it was interesting that there was only 6 seconds remaining in this one. I don't think if Tony had held on for that last 6 seconds, he still wins. Monk's got some stats here.
Yeah, all those strikes, yeah.
Yeah, it's 145 significant strikes to 68 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So can you go back to the first round? That was the one that I felt like, no, I don't think.
He might have had the better power shots, but yeah.
Well, he cracked him in the first round and wobbled Bobby Green, and everyone's like, Ferguson's still got power. Rogan's saying the power's the last thing to go. Maybe my brain's remembering that, but looking at those stats, I think Bobby had this one pretty handedly.
Bobby's a elite boxer, and that's kind of his forte. So, it's they did a good job, and he got an arm triangle to finish it off just beforehand. So, yeah.
And in welterweight, Kevin Holland beats Michael Chiesa, first round submission via a Darce choke. I was saying to the boys, I don't know what that is.
It looks like an arm triangle, but it's from a different position, essentially.
Okay. Get at us.
It's the body position.
Get at us, BJJ fans.
Yeah.
Obviously, not really well versed in the world of BJJ, but do like the UFC. Back-to-back wins for Kevin Holland.
This was at welterweight as well, so he'd come down for this one.
Correct.
So he did talk up post-fight, like, will he stay here? Will he go back up? I think he hates the weight cut, but he's also super competitive in the welterweight division. It'd be hard to say.
Chiesa as well, similar to Tony Ferguson, although not as many losses, 3 on the trot. Including Sean Braney and Vicente Luque. When does he hang him up? You'd be pretty close. Prelims, we won't run through them all, but the 2 that definitely caught the eye was the other head kick knockout that was from Roman Kopylov against Claudio Ribeiro. Left high kick, it was pretty much good night for Claudio straight away. He's Siberian. He's won 3 in a row. He's definitely looking for a ranking. Everything was through the translator. Like, does not speak a lick of English. Called out the gangster. I did hear gangster in English of middleweight. Sean Strickland. Probably not getting Sean Strickland next fight.
Needs a rank.
Needs to go through. There's a few guys looking for fights that are lower rankings in Hermanson, Allen, Paul Craig. So I imagine he gets one of those, and one to watch out for sure moving forward.
Yep.
And Aussie, welterweight, Jake Matthews getting the win against Darius Flowers. Flowers taking the fight on short notice. Matthews very gracious in his victory, thanking him for taking the fight on short notice, and again looking for a ranking, just struggling with a bit of consistency. There was a low kick from Matthews. The crowd didn't seem to like it, but
so when you say low kick, he kicked him in the balls.
Yeah, it definitely dropped him from some contact with the nuts, but if you look at it, the ball of the foot of Matthews, it's all tummy of Flowers, and the heel kind of just gets the cut too. And the commentators were all saying that's a clean shot. That's a clean shot. Yeah. So a little bit of controversy there, but I don't think it affected the fight that much. And Matthews getting the win and really kind of respectable in the post match. 3 weeks until UFC 292, so this middle of the year, you get pretty treated. Obviously, it's the summertime for them over there. It just seems like yesterday that Volk was doing his thing, and now it's only 3 weeks until 292 with Aljo and Sugar Sean.